In this video, we're going to be discussing special right triangles in order to help explain and set up the unit circle. 45 degree 90, 90 degree triangle. Honestly, 45, 90 degree right triangle basically comes from a square. Why? Because a square is the only thing that is going to create a diagonal that cuts it in equal angles. So therefore, this would be 90 degrees, this would be 45 degrees, and this would be 45 degrees. So therefore, that is why we get a 45 degree 90 angle. So here's the deal. Let's say that we have a side of 5 centimeters, which means we know that this side is going to be 5 centimeters. So I want to find what is the diagonal. So we know Pythagorean theorem says that 5 squared plus 5 squared equals x squared. So we'll get 25 plus 25 equals x squared, which gives you 50. And then to get rid of x squared, you're going to have to take the square root of square root of 50. Now, square root of 50 actually breaks down into 25 times 2. The square root of 25 is 5, leaving you the square root of 2. So if the side is 5, then the diagonal is going to be 5 square roots of 2. Do you see a correlation? Well, if not, just wait. We're going to do it again. Let's try 9. If that side's 9, that side's 9, and we're trying to find the diagonal. So therefore, we know that 9 squared plus 9 squared equals x squared. So we'll get 81 plus 81 equals x squared, which gives us 162. And then get rid of the square by taking the square root to find the diagonal. And 162 is 81 times 2. And the square root of 81 is 9 square roots of 2. So we now know that the diagonal is going to be 9 square roots of 2. So if that's x and that's x, that's going to be automatically be that number times the square root of 2. Now, here's something that's cool that happens. If I wanted to, so let's say that that's 9. That means that's 9 square roots of 2. And let's say I wanted to take the sine of 45 degrees. That means the ratio is going to be the opposite divided by the hypotenuse, which means it is going to be 1 divided by the square root of 2. Now, in Algebra 2, you learn that you have to rationalize the denominator. So you got to multiply both the bottom and top by the square root of 2. And so therefore, the sine of 45 degrees is going to be the square root of 2 divided by 2. Because square root of 2 times square root of 2 is the square root of 4, which is 2. Cosine of this is going to be the same thing. Cosine is adjacent divided by the hypotenuse, which again gives you 1 divided by the square root of 2, which is going to end up giving you the square root of 2 divided by 2. So it doesn't matter if that's 7, then that would be 7 square roots of 2. If that was 5, that would be 5 square roots of 2. Same thing is going to happen. 5 divided by 5 square roots of 2 is still going to cancel each other, leaving you 1 over square root of 2. So the sine of any 45 degree angle, doesn't matter how big the triangle is going to be, the sine of that is always going to be the square root of 2 over 2, no matter what. Cosine will always be square root of 2 over 2. And something kind of cool, the tangent is opposite over the adjacent, which is 1. So no matter how big the triangle is, 5, 10, 100, the diagonal is automatically going to be 100 square roots of 2. So when you take sine, when you take the opposite divided by the hypotenuse, those numbers will always cancel, leaving you the square root of 2 over 2, no matter what. And so therefore, what happens on the unit circle, if you say, by the way, unit circle means it's 1 unit of radius. It means the radius equals 1 unit. Doesn't matter if it's 1 centimeter, 1 meter, 1 foot, 1 inch. It just means a radius of 1 unit. So if it's at 45 degrees, automatically you're going to go over square root of 2 over 2, and you're going to go up square root of 2 over 2 no matter what. Why? Because sine of an angle is y divided by r, right? You have an angle, sine is opposite over the hypotenuse. And if the hypotenuse is a unit of 1, therefore, sine of the angle is going to be whatever your y value is. So sine of 45 degrees is going to be the actual unit, just like we found out over here, square root of 2 over 2. The y value is going to be square root of 2 over 2. Cosine is the exact same thing. X over r, but in this case, r is 1 unit. So at 45 degrees, your x and y are going to be the exact same coordinate points, which it should, because a 45 degree means that's 45 degrees and it's an isosceles triangle. And then based off of what we just learned, no matter how big or how wide or whatever the square is going to be, it is always going to turn into square root of 2 over 2. With the 30, 60, 90 triangle, we know that all the angle measures are 60 degrees, which means that's 60 degrees, which means that is 30 degrees. Okay? Now, if this side is 10, that means this entire side down here is 10, which means this side is 10, which means this side is 5, and this side is 5. To find this, we'll do Pythagorean theorem. We'll make that y because it's going up. 5 squared plus y squared equals 10 squared. 25 plus y squared equals 100. Y squared equals 75. So therefore y equals the square root of 75. 75 is 25 times 3. And the square root of 25 is 5. So if you notice the correlation, whatever this bottom down here is, the y value, that other side, is going to be that number times the square root of 3. So if I wanted to find sine at 60 degrees, then sine is opposite over the hypotenuse, and 5 over 10 reduces to 1/2. Cosine of 60 degrees is going to be the adjacent over hypotenuse, which is always going to be 1/2. It does not matter if we chose 12 here, then that would be 6 because it got cut in half. And it will always work out to where that number is going to be 6 times the square root of 3. So the sine, so if we had this coordinate point and we went over and then went up, the cosine would be 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. Because if this is 1, in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, this is going to be half of it, and this is going to be half of it times the square root of 3, no matter what. Again, to get from here to here, it's adjacent over hypotenuse. 5 divided by 10 is 1/2. That is why you have 1/2 here. And then to go up, it would be 5 squared to 3 over 10, and 5 over 10 is 1/2 times the square root of 3, and that's why it is square root of 3 over 2. Because, again, the radius is 1. Because if you remember, sine of theta is y over r, and we know that r is 1, so it's just r. So at 60 degrees, The sine is your y value, and cosine is going to be your x value, no matter what. So without even having to use a calculator, and someone asks me, hey, what is cosine of 60 degrees? Automatically, I can tell you that the answer is going to be 0.5. No matter what, no matter what. The cosine is your x value, the sine is your y value. Now, it happens again with 30 degrees. So this is the same thing. This is 60 degrees, this is 60 degrees, this is 60 degrees, which means this is 30 degrees. So again, if this is 10, this becomes 5, and this becomes 5 squared to 3. If I want to find sine of this angle, sine of 30 degrees is going to be my opposite over my hypotenuse, which is 1/2, and cosine is going to be my adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is the square root of 3 over 2. So if you notice, they actually flip-flop. So where the 60 degree had 1/2 as the x value, the 30 degree has 1/2 as the y value. Cosine and sine at 60 degrees is 1/2 squared to 3 over 2, but at 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. So we are going to use that in order to explain the unit circle.